Live from Plainfield High School, it is Indiana High School football as the 4-4 Plainfield High School Quakers are set to take on the 0-8 Martinsville High School Artesians. Good evening, I'm JP Sinclair, and this is the AudioSportsOnline.com pregame show. We want to thank you for enjoying Plainfield Varsity Football on AudioSportsOnline.com. This broadcast is brought to you by Impact Insurance Restoration, Wicker Construction, Fusion Alliance, Allergent, Animal Clinic of Plainfield, Plainfield Self-Storage, Allstate Insurance by Tim Grandstaff, Beefcake Burgers, and the Beacon Sign Company. Last game out for Plainfield High School was a tough loss to Mid-State leading Whiteland. The first half of a very great effort from Plainfield, but they were really locked up against Whiteland in the second half. Plainfield only gave up 17 points to Whiteland, who came in scoring a whopping 40 points per game against conference foes. While there are no moral victories, it was still a very nice accomplishment. Tevin Tomlinson did come back, and Coach gave him lots of praise in his weekly show. With the continued growth of freshman quarterback, that is, Slayton, we have continued to see the growth of a young receiving corps as well in juniors Gavin Ritter, junior Dante Keys, and sophomore Dawson Anderson. The future through the air does look bright indeed for the Quakers. You can check out the archive podcast of the Brian Woodard Show every week on AudioSportsOnline.net under the Plainfield tab. Head Coach Woodard is in his 9th year at the helm of Plainfield. He has a combined record of 42 and 46 in those years. He was an assistant coach when Plainfield went to semi-state back in 2000 under then head coach Chuck Schwannekamp. Well, let's take a quick look at Martinsville. While they are 0-8, they still can be a very dangerous team. They're hungry for a win, and desperate teams have that ability. According to Coach Woodard in his interview this week, he did say that this is a team that has the talent, and they've been in some tight games. We'll go over some of those games here momentarily, but they've been in a couple of tight games. They just haven't been able to get the win. And like I said, this is a very hungry Martinsville team, and that could be a very dangerous team, particularly when you're playing on a night like tonight. They did have a number of players graduate last year, did Martinsville, and it will require a disciplined effort here tonight from Plainfield to try and get that win. It is senior night here at Plainfield High School. They're honoring some of the senior football players now, as well as some of the cheerleaders in a pregame ceremony, and also some of the dancers as well. Talking a little bit more about this as we get set for the final matchup of the year before the playoffs start, as far as sectional draw goes, Plainfield has drawn another repeat opponent. They had a repeat opponent last year where they faced Roncalli in the postseason in the game. Actually, it was their third game of sectionals, and they fell to Roncalli in that game. But this year they're going to have to face Decatur Central, a team they've already played once again, so it's another repeat opponent, and it's a mid-state opponent as well. And in that mid-state game, Decatur Central won 35-14. We'll talk a little bit more about that game later on tonight, particularly towards the end of the broadcast when we look at the next matchup for the Quakers. But it'll be a tough place to try and get a victory when you're going to Decatur Central to face a high-powered offense. But like I said, Plainfield will have a tough opponent here tonight that they have to get through first. Looking at some of the historical matchups between these two teams, Plainfield is 10-5 all-time versus Martinsville, but a 4-5 against the Artesians since they joined the Mid-State Conference in 2006. Let's go ahead and take a second to honor some of the senior football players. There's about 21 seniors that will play their last regular season home game here at Red Pride Stadium. They'll be Coy Anderson, Yeager Barnett, Josh Briscoe, Tyler Brown, Randall Clugston, Dylan Foster, Chase Frazier, Logan Good-Smith, Bailey Kennedy, Hunter Lyford, Jacob Maple, Ernie Mariscal, Matt Muller, Jacob Morris, Colin Nicewater, Roger Roy, Brandon Royer, Devin Spalding, Tevin Tomlinson, Alec Waugh, and Clayton White. A look at the weather for tonight's game. It could be a very interesting one as temperatures will be in the mid-50s for most of the game. There'll be no chance of rain, but winds could gust up to 13 miles per hour. We'll see how that favors into the passing and kicking games here tonight. Some of the keys to tonight's matchup is this Plainfield team has to dominate early. They have to take Martinsville out of the game early and kind of make them feel like that 0-8 record that they're coming in with and get them kind of down on themselves. When you're struggling to, like Martinsville is this year, one thing you can't let them do is get some kind of momentum going. So you got to be able to keep the momentum in your favor, and that starts with that opening kickoff. You got to be able to kind of take them out of it early. And then the last thing is you kind of have to grow together. This is a special night for the seniors in their final home game, but there are spots on this Plainfield roster that'll be missed come next year. So this is a game where you want to finish strong and kind of grow on to the next stage of your life together. And, I mean, these seniors have played together for 4 years, and I'm sure they want to go out on a high note. And that comes with taking care of business, playing disciplined football, which is one of the things that Coach continued to hammer on in his show this week, was just play discipline. He felt like that was part of the reason why they struggled last week, was they didn't play as disciplined as they could have to try and get that W against Whiteland. Well, let's go and take a look at the starters as they continue to honor the seniors here at senior night. We'll start with the Plainfield offense. Pretty much the same thing we've seen pretty much all year long. Left to right, Jacob Spray, the 5'11", 270 junior. Connor Kennedy will play the left guard, 240-pound, 5'11 junior. Ethan Grenier will be under center, or snapping two from the center position, I should say. He's 5'11", 230 pounds. Right guard, Jacob Morris, the senior, 5'10", 260 pounds. And then junior Brady Adams will fill out that line at 200 pounds and 5'10". The quarterback for this one, as it has been pretty much the entire second half of the season, will be freshman Ben Slayton, the 5'10", 170-pound freshman. He's 29 of 61 coming into this game for 381 yards. He does have 3 touchdowns as well as 3 interceptions. He has looked a lot more comfortable as the season has progressed, going through his progressions, particularly in 5-step drop situations. He's kind of getting a little bit more handle on the offense and what's expected of him. Early on, it looked like he kind of struggled under pressure, but in the last couple of games, he's become a lot better, more confident in his ability to be able to look downfield with his feet, and that's something to continue to watch as far as his growth is concerned here tonight. His main go-to targets will be sophomore Dawson Anderson, the 5'7", 185-pound wideout, and Dante Keys, the junior, 5'10", 175 pounds. Dante Keys is featured more and more here late in the season as far as that jet sweep option. He does have 4 rushes on the year for 56 yards. It had been just Dawson Anderson getting that jet sweep rushing attempts from the wide receiver position, but Dante Keys is starting to feature in that a little bit more, which keeps the defense on their toes. Gavin Ritter, the junior, will also be featured in that wideout core, the 5'10", 160-pound junior. The tight ends, Devin Spalding, the senior, 5'11", 230 pounds. The tailback is Dylan Foster, 5'10", 190-pound senior. He has 167 rushes on the year for 885 yards and 9 touchdowns. He also has a pass and a completion for 12 yards and a touchdown. A little bit of trickery we saw from them earlier on in the season. He'll be backed up by Jacob Maple, the senior, 6'3", 185 pounds. Talked about Plainfield. They're scoring close to 20 points per game and holding opponents to 26. They're at 500 on the season. They'll want to go into the playoffs on a high note. Take a look now at the Plainfield defense. They feature a 3-4. Matt Moeller, Bryce Biddle, and Roger Roy will all be up front. Moeller, the senior, 6'2", 220 pounds. Biddle, the 5'11", 250 junior, will be playing that nose tackle position. And then senior Roger Roy, 6'1", 315, will be on the other side of that defensive line. In the 4 linebacker positions, it'll be from left to right, Tyler Marks, the 5'7", 215 junior. Hunter Lyford, the 5'7", 210 senior. Brad Wicker, 54 tackles on the year for him, as well as 4 for loss, the 5'11", 185-pound junior. And then senior Coy Anderson, who has led this team in tackles and pretty much been a force to be reckoned with on the defensive end of the ball, the 5'7", 170-pound senior. He has 73 tackles on the year, 4 for loss, 1 deflection, as well as a forced fumble. In the secondary for the Quakers, you'll have Clayton White. He's been filling in at that secondary position, but he's done a pretty solid job. He had originally taken over for Corey Bennett when Bennett was injured, but has since still held on to that starting role because he's filled in so great for it. Corey Bennett will be the other side of the cornerback position, the junior 6'1", 155-pound. In the safety position will be Yeager Barnett, the 5'6", 160-pound senior, and junior Andrew Zoss, 5'10", 165-pound junior. I think we have a little bit more time before the national anthem, so we'll go and take a look at Martinsville now. And here we go for the national anthem. So we'll get to Martinsville starters here momentarily. You're listening to AudioSportsOnline.com coverage of Plainfield High School varsity football. Welcome back to Plainfield High School. Let's go and talk a little bit about the Martinsville starters. We'll start with the offense from left to right. Josh Bertelson, Caleb Allen, Dylan Langley, and Jacob Hurst, as well as Josh Ferguson from left to right. They'll be Dylan Langley, the center, will be snapping to junior Matthew Hoskins. He has 74 completions on the year out of 154 attempts for 709 yards. Has 6 touchdowns passing the ball, but also has 10 interceptions as well as 3 fumbles carrying the football. So kind of been turnover prone. We might see some of Griffey here tonight, at least according to the Martinsville media. So we'll kind of, it's Travis Griffey. He's a freshman, 5'11", 166 pounds. We might see some of him here tonight. Some of Hoskins' go-to targets are Colton Tribby, the junior. He has 15 receptions on the year for 158 yards as well as 2 touchdowns. And Greg Daniels, kind of a feature back, kind of like Dawson Anderson, where you're going to see him rush as well from that flanker position. He has 41 carries on the year for 155 yards as well as 1 touchdown. He also has 34 receptions for 266 yards and 1 fumble. Another go-to target in that kind of spread wideout position is going to be Jesse Stewart, the senior, 5'9", 151 pounds. He has 12 receptions on the year for 123 yards. The running back core is going to have kind of a halfback, fullback set. The halfback is going to be senior Joey Gorham, 5'11", 174 pounds. He has 90 carries on the year for 329 yards as well as 4 touchdowns. And also senior Levi Knox, the 6'1", 233-pound fullback, has 30 carries on the year for 123 yards as well as 1 touchdown. Talked about it, their head coach is Brad Rose in his second year at the helm of Martinsville with a 7-12 record, 0-8 on the season. Had some very tough games. 9-26 was the score in the first game against Guerin Catholic, 7-49 at Bloomington South, 25-28, a close one versus Greenwood, but it was still a loss. Decatur Central, 14-49. Franklin Community was another close one, 7-10. Whiteland, they got blanketed by 0-52. We talked about that Roncalli game. 10-36 was the final in that one. And then last week against Mooresville, 17-29. So this is a very, very hungry Martinsville team, and they have to be cognizant of that if you're Plainfield to try and keep the pressure on them. They come in only averaging 11 points per game and giving up 34. So you have to take advantage of what's presented here for you tonight if you're Plainfield. The punter is going to be Ethan Knox, and the place kicker is Caleb Urban. For the Martinsville defense, Levi Knox, Josh Bertelson, and Josh Tombleson will be featured in the 3-4. Joey Gorm, Keelan Page, and Cade Scott, as well as Jake Johnston, will be in that linebacker core. Cade Scott has 49 tackles as well as an interception on the season. Jesse Stewart, the senior, will be playing left cornerback. The right cornerback will be Colton Tribby. And then the safety positions will be Jacob Ferguson and Spencer Elliott. It'll be interesting to see them. You have a lot of players for this Martinsville team that play on both sides of the ball. We'll see if that kind of hurts them as the game progresses here tonight. You might have heard the fireworks here tonight for Plainfield. Kind of going all out here on senior night. Let's go ahead and take a second to thank some of our sponsors as we wait for the coin flip. For more than 2 decades, Wicker Construction is engaged in building one-of-a-kind homes and remodeling projects while exceeding client expectations, delivering projects with professionalism and integrity. Wicker Construction works closely with you, the client, to understand your lifestyle and construction needs. Looks like Coy Anderson, Roger Roy, Tevin Tomlinson, and Colin Nicewander, who is suited up here tonight, looks like, does have a helmet on. We'll see if that kind of factors into it. I'm not sure exactly where he's at in his return from injury, but they're going out there to represent the seniors here on senior night. Still waiting to see what the result of the coin flip is. Like I said, you want to get it off to a fast start if you're Plainfield here tonight. Try and take Martinsville out of any kind of hope for victory here early. I think that's really going to be the main key to victory in this one if you're Plainfield. Speaking from my own personal experience, being part of struggling, didn't play football, but, baseball as well as tennis. It can be tough. It can be a long season when you're on losing streaks. So, kind of want to take any kind of momentum from them early. So it looks like Martinsville won the toss and deferred, and Plainfield will receive first, so Martinsville will get the second half kickoff. So Plainfield will be defending and receiving, I should say, from the north end zone. We'll be driving southbound. So Maple and Dawson Anderson will go back to return for Plainfield. Jacob Maple on the return game for the year had 11 for 317 yards and a 29-yard average, as well as one return for a touchdown. Gabe Ran, the junior, 5'6", 135 pounds, will get set to kick it away for Martinsville. And we get set to go. Check that. That is Ethan Knox out there kicking it. Senior, 5'10", 195 pounds. Wearing number 8. That's a very short kick. That might bounce out of bounds. It doesn't, so Dawson Anderson will let it hop. Picks it up at the 15. Flag flies. He crosses the 30 to the 40. Still on his feet past the 50 before he's finally knocked out of bounds. We'll wait and see what the laundry is on the field, because that one could be brought back to the spot of the foul. But it was still a very nice return, but we'll see where it is from the spot of the foul. And that one will be walked back, so it'll be a penalty against Plainfield in the realm of block in the back. So Ben Slayton will be out there with Dylan Foster. Coming near side is Clayton White. Dante Keys in the slot spread formation here with 4 receivers. Dylan Foster stands to the right of Slayton in the shotgun. In motion is Dawson Anderson, who gets it on the end around, crossing the 12, close to the 15, might be just short, closer to the 14. So it'll be a minimal gain of, call it, well, still a gain of about 5 yards on the first carry of the game for Anderson. Anderson and Keys near side. Tight formation on the other side where the open field is. Plainfield wearing their home reds with the white pants. And it's a fumble and not falling on its Plainfield. Martinsville says they have it. And they do, and they'll be in prime field position as Dante Keys was unable to corral it from the handoff from Slayton. So Keys loses the football on a fumble, and that's going to set Martinsville up in prime field position. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 12 for the Artesians. Tribby comes near side. In the slots, Greg Daniels. 2 running backs behind Hoskins. And off goes to Knox, who rumbles and stumbles. Maybe ahead for a gain of 1 before he's brought down by Yeager Barnett. So really a gain of none on the carry for Knox. Greg Daniels goes wide to the right. Tribby comes near side. Hoskins stands with 2 running backs beside him. The lefty pulls it down, looks to run, trying to find room on the outside, crossing the 10 and out of bounds. So minimal gain of maybe 4 on the play. So bring out 3rd and call it 6 from about the 9-yard line. Tribby near side, 3 receivers wide to the right for Hoskins. Has 1 running back beside him, that's Gorman. Gorman takes it on the handoff, and he's brought down quickly and very quickly by Bryce Biddle. Right after the handoff, Bryce Biddle was all in the face of Gorham, who didn't have anywhere to go with that one. So that brings out 4th and 9. Hoskins still on. Looks like he'll hold for the kicker, Caleb Urban, who's the freshman. And that one's low and no good. That one looked to be partially blocked. Pressure put on from the Plainfield defense, and they'll hold serve and get the ball back on the turnover on downs. So great defensive stand from Plainfield, whose offense had given it up in really, really tough field position, and Plainfield was able to force a, 1 and out basically. Two receivers near side, 1 wide to the left. Slayton in the modified shotgun with Foster. And they'll hand off to Foster. Puts his head down, crosses the 15, across the 25. Up ahead to about the 26. So gain of, call it 6 for Foster on that carry. That's his first carry of the night. Dawson Anderson goes wide to the left. Dante Keys is near side. Slayton will hand off once again to Foster, who has room to work with. Crossing the 40 before he's finally corralled from behind by Travis Griffey. Or check that. That's Colton Tribby on the tackle. So another nice gain from Foster. About a 26-yard gain is what we're going to call it. And they'll hand off once again to Foster. Foster following his blockers up ahead for another gain of about 5 yards. Up ahead to about the 40, call it the 46. Oh, no, about the 47, excuse me. So Foster getting some burn here early. 8:20 left to go in the first quarter. Plainfield now in Artesian territory for the first time here tonight. Dante Keys goes wide to the left. In the slot is Dawson Anderson. Pistol kind of variation for Slayton. Low snap. They'll hand off to Jacob Maple, who doesn't get much, if anything, on the carry. Called a gain of 1. So that'll bring out 3rd and 4 for the Quakers. Two receivers go wide to the left, none on the near side. Slayton will fake the handoff and keep it himself, but he's not going to get much, maybe a gain of 1. So I'll bring out 4th down, and it does look like Plainfield will send on the punt team. So John Hagee on, the junior to punt, 5'6", 115 pounds. Has a 35-yard average so far on the year. Going back to return, it's going to be Greg Daniels. He has a 11-yard return average on the year. And they're going to fake it and run, and it's finally kicked. Take a nice Plainfield bounce all the way about to the 1-yard line. I like that. John Hagee looked to the right side to see if he had any kind of room to try and reach down for the first down marker, but was still able to rugby-style kick it away. And it worked in the favor of Plainfield. And now Martinsville is going to be in very, very tough field position now as they're looking to have to go the length of the field to try and get any kind of score. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 1 for the Artesians. Kirby comes near side. One receiver wide to the right is Daniels. Stewart in the slot. Hoskins will take it and hand off to Gorham. He'll get ahead for a short gain of maybe 3. Tribby comes near side. Greg Daniels will be in the slot. Stewart wide to the right. Plainfield shows blitz. Handoff goes to Gorham, who will put his head down and get close to the 8-yard line, it looks like. So it'll bring out 3rd and call it 3rd and 4. Plainfield has been playing one-on-one on the outside and bringing pretty much everybody else. Could be tested here on 3rd down. Quick throw, and it's no good. So it'll be an incomplete pass for Hoskins. And that'll bring out 4th down and force a tough punt from the end zone. So Plainfield's defense once again holds steadfast and forces another 3 and out. And Anderson will stand in Martinsville territory at their 40-yard line to return this punt from can't quite see the number on that. Ethan Knox. He'll let it bounce, and he'll pick it up about the 45. Crosses the 40, puts his head down 35, making men miss. Has room to work with, crossing to the 15 before he's finally brought down is Coy Anderson. Excuse the poor camera work. Trying to do too many things at once. But Coy Anderson with a very, very nice return, going all the way from the 45 up to about the 15 for a nice 30-yard return. So it'll be first and 10 from about the 15 for Plainfield, who is basically winning the field position battle right now. Dante Keys and Dawson Anderson in tight on the right side. Slayton stands with Foster in the shotgun. High snap. He'll pitch it over to Foster. Has room to work with, wide open to the end zone. Had the blockers on the right side and was all the way in for the score. So nice 15-yard gain for Anderson for the touchdown. And Hagee will come out to kick it for the PAT. Hagee on the year is 18 of 18. And that one's almost blocked, but Hagee's able to get it up and in. So 5:10 left to go in the first quarter. The Plainfield Quakers draw first blood on a 15-yard rush from Foster. PAT is good to make it 7-0 in favor of the Quakers. What's a one-play, 1-yard drive set for the score by Foster, following the Coy Anderson. Following the Coy Anderson punt return. So the Artesians will get the football back, and we'll see Hagee kicking off for the first time here tonight. 5:10 left to go in the first quarter. Tribby and Daniels back deep to return as Hagee puts a leg into it. It's fielded at the 10, crossing the 15 to the 20 with room to work with up to the 30. I think that's Daniels there on the carry for Martinsville. It is. Daniels, we talked about coming into this one with an average 23 yards per return. He's going to set his team up nicely here at their own 32. So it'll be first and 10 for the Artesians. Two receivers near side, two to the wide side for Hoskins. Flags fly, or nope, no flags. Thought it was whistles, but it is not. But it'll be a quick pass out for about 6 yards to, it's not Greg Daniels. That is Boyd Johnson, the freshman, 5'6", 140. Didn't have any yards after the catch. Plainfield did a good job wrapping him up, so it'll bring out 2nd and 5. And handoff goes up the middle to Gorham. Doesn't get much of anything. I believe Matt Muller, among others, there on the tackle. Three receivers near side, one to the right for Hoskins. Takes it, looks to throw. Has a receiver. It's tipped up and intercepted by Yeager Barnett. Yeager Barnett to the 10. And touchdown, Yeager Barnett. How about that for the senior on senior night with his second interception of the year on that one for a Let's see. I think they were about at the 35, so about a 35-yard interception return for a touchdown for Yeager Barnett. So 35 yards and the touchdown on that interception return for Barnett. Always a great feeling there on senior night when you get a big play like that one. And the PAT is upcoming from Hagee. And it is also good. So 35-yard interception return by Yeager Barnett at the 4:16-minute mark of the first quarter. PAT is good, and that makes it 14-0 here early for the Quakers. Well, we talked about getting off to a fast start and kind of putting the Artesians, take the wind out of their sails early, particularly how they've struggled this year. That's exactly what Plainfield is doing with an early 2-score lead. That really wasn't Hoskins' fault. It was a high throw, but give credit to Barnett in particular for staying with the play after it was deflected up. And Hagee puts a leg into it. Coming up to field it at about the 8-yard line are the Artesians, crossing the 25. Believe that was Daniels on the return. Impact Insurance Restoration is your hometown restoration company for all your fire, flood, wind, and hail damage needs. They're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and are located at 2340 East Perry Road right here in Plainfield. And they can be reached at 268-6375. Kirby comes near side, as well as two other receivers. One receiver wide to the right for Hoskins. They'll hand off. I think that's Gorman on the carry. These Martinsville numbers are a little bit hard for me to read up here. The red numbers and the white jerseys. Still haven't been able to see quite who had the carry. I think it might have been Greg Daniels. So either way, it'll bring out second and call at 6. Hoskins will take it. Looks downfield, looks to run now. He's not going to get much of anything. Coming up to make the play was Bryce Biddle as Hoskins looked to pull it down and run with it. So 3rd and 6. Still 3rd and manageable for Martinsville. They've been in a number of 3rd and manageable situations, just haven't been able to convert a first down yet. Looking for the quick throw. Looks like it will be caught close to the first down marker. They'll go ahead and mark it as a first down and move the chains. So that's the first down on the pass from Hoskins. Kirby comes near side as well as Greg Daniels in the slot. Hoskins will hand off. That's Gorman on the carry. Up ahead for a gain of almost 8, maybe call it 9. He does come up hobbling a little bit. And he'll work his way to the sideline. Numbers are very thin. I think that's why I'm having such a difficult time up here. But Levi Knox will stand in there to the left of Hoskins now. In motions is Daniels. And double reverse. And on the throw
as a receiver and catching it at about the 15 is going to be Stewart. So the trickery pays off for Martinsville. It was a double end around back to Hoskins. He threw it downfield to Stewart, who was able to haul in for a very, very nice gain for the Artesians. Looks like Daniels is in there running it now. And it'll be a quarterback keeper from Hoskins on the faked handoff. They'll get ahead for a gain of, call it 6, so that'll bring out 2nd and 4. Minute 30 left to go in the first quarter. Martinsville starting to show some form of offensive life here. Tripping near side, Greg Daniels in the slot. Wide to the right is, looks like Eli Toomey. Hoskins brings it down, has pressure. Still being pursued. Coy Anderson gets a nice hit on him in the backfield, close to the 9-yard line. Pressure was put on originally by Matt Muller, but Coy Anderson came up from the linebacker position to finish it off. So that will be a nice sack for Anderson. His 5th tackle for loss on the season. Levi Knox stands in with Hoskins to the left. 3 receivers wide to the right. Quick throw over to that right side. Trying to find some room to work with before he's gang tackled and brought down for a big loss is Greg Daniels. Daniels trying to find some kind of room to run upfield with it, but instead ran downfield, and it's going to be a huge loss and bring out 4th down. So Ethan Knox now on for the field goal attempt. That one's up, and that one looks good. It is. So Ethan Knox gets the Artesians on the board with I think that was about a 30, let's see, it was about from the 25, so about a 35-yard attempt, I'm going to say. With 13 seconds left to go in the first quarter, it makes it 14-3 in favor of the Quakers. Call that 35 yards. 35 yards. That's what I thought. That's what it looked like. So Knox will get set to kick it away. Anderson and Maple back deep to return. Knox puts a good leg into it. Dawson Anderson will field it at the 5, crossing the 10, looking for room as he gets ahead of steam across the 20 to the 25 before he's finally brought down. So 8 seconds left in the first quarter, so we'll probably see just one play from the Quaker offense here. Keys goes wide to the left. Let's see. Trying to see who's near side. Can't really tell. And Keys on the end around, looking for him to work with, crossing the 30 up to about the 34. Looks like he'll get a favorable spot up to the 35. So Luke Middleton, excuse me. That's the receiver I was trying to figure out. But it'll be a nice first down run for Dante Keys. from the 25 up to the 31. So nice 6-yard gain for him. And that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. Plainfield leads 14-3. It's going to take a second to thank some of our sponsors. For all your pet care needs, you can visit the Animal Clinic of Plainfield at 2324 East Main Street, right here in Plainfield. Directly across from the Super Walmart Garden Center, Dr. Deckard and his team of dedicated doctors and staff know just how important your pets are to you, and they'll work hard to keep them healthy and happy for years to come. For more information, you can visit their website at www.animalclinicofplainfield.com or call to set up an appointment at 839-8154, and be sure to like them on Facebook. Located at 2683 East Main Street, Suite 113 in Plainfield, at Beefcakes, we can build your burger to eliminate your hunger. Come join us and maybe even get in around a cornhole. So the teams will switch sides, and Plainfield will now be driving towards the north end zone. It'll be first and 10 for Plainfield following the Dante Keys rush. Plainfield leads 14-3. 2 receivers near side for Slayton and that modified pistol. And they show blitz. Foster evades it, has room to work with, across the 40, and he's brought down by a shoestring tackle by Travis Griffey. And that was close to being a home run there for Foster. It was a shoestring tackle by Griffey. So it was called a gain of 7 for Foster on that carry. And he'll check out. Looks like Maple in there right now. And it'll be a short little pitch out to Maple, crossing the 45, looking for room on the 50, and getting across to the other side into enemy territory at about the 43. So call it a gain of 20, I believe, on that carry. No, check that. 14. And Maple will get it and be brought down for a short loss on that one. Called a loss of 2. Basic math. It's always when they cross the 50 that throws me up when I'm trying to keep stats. But they were at the 43 and got to the other side on the other 43, so that's 7 yards either way. That'd be 14. I'll get there, folks. Just give me time. 2 receivers near side, 1 to the right, bringing out 2nd and 11 now. Foster back in there, and Slayton will try and keep it and be knocked back for a big-time sack. Ferguson is looked to be the first one there to get the hit on Slayton, the 5'9", 150-pound senior. That's his 4th tackle for loss on the year. And that'll be a loss of, call it 4 for Slayton on the rush. So that'll bring out 3rd and long. 1 receiver near side, 2 to the right for Slayton. Anderson in motion. He'll get it on the handoff. He's being pursued, trying to find room to work with on the right side, and he's not going to find much. It'll be a loss of 1 for Anderson. And that'll force a punt. We saw the field position game go pretty favorably for Plainfield in the first quarter. We'll see if that continues here. Might have room to work with if you're Hagee on the left side. But he's just going to punt this one away. Very high punt. Going to take a very favorable bounce for Plainfield, rolling down close to the 5. So that puts Martinsville in another tough field position. So Martinsville offense will come back. No. Two receivers near side for Hoskins, one wide to the left. He'll take it and hand off to Knox, who puts his head down on the left side, cutting ahead for a gain of, call it 2, maybe 3. So that'll bring out 2nd and 6. Clock continues to move. 8:43 left to go in the second. Stewart comes near side. Greg Daniels in the right slot. Hoskins will hand off once again for a short gain. I believe that was Knox on the carry. So another 3rd and manageable situation. We've seen Martinsville with 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 a lot, but they have only converted a couple of them thus far. Hoskins almost bobbled it, finds his receiver at the 10, makes a nice move against Yeager Barnett, getting across to the 25. That'll be a first down. That was a great open field move by Greg Daniels to get to the first down marker, kind of leaving Barnett, Barnett, not Bennett, Yeager Barnett, a little bit looking foolish on that. Greg Daniels goes wide to the left, near side is Tribby. And handoff goes absolutely nowhere. Is there to wrap him up on that left side was Matt Moeller. Or check that, Roger Roy on the tackle. So Gorham unable to get nothing on the ground against this Plainfield defense thus far. .704 left to go in the second quarter. Hoskins takes it, will hand off, and Plainfield does another good job with the run coverage. Unable to get anything going as Martinsville up the middle. Plainfield's done a good job stopping them at the point of attack. Good gap coverage that time from Plainfield. We talked about it in the pregame show, being disciplined, and gap coverage goes along into that. Stewart comes near side. Daniels and Tribby go wide to the left. Hoskins looks to throw, has pressure, and he'll be brought down from behind by Roger Roy. Senior getting his first sack of the season right here on senior night. So Roger Roy getting the big-time sack there to bring out 4th and 12 and force the punt. Anderson will stand once again in Martinsville territory. We saw him with the big return that set up the scoring touchdown earlier. He'll come up to field this one and trying to find room to work with, crossing the 40 before he turns on the Jets. Crossing the 30, has room to work with, only 2 men to beat. Cuts it back up to the 10. Up ahead to about the 8-yard line is Coy Anderson. Once again, a great return from Anderson. There is a flag down, though, so we'll wait and see what that call is. So they'll walk that one back. And will be a wipe out. A very, very nice gain from Anderson. Wipes out about a 38-yard return from Anderson. Three receivers wide to the right for Slayton, one on the near side. Foster stands to his right. Foster gets on the handoff, and he'll be wrapped up and brought down quickly for a loss. Great tackle made by the senior Josh Bertelson for Martinsville. 6'4", 233 pounds. Bring out a 1-yard loss against Foster. So they'll bring out second and call 11. Anderson goes wide to the right. In the right slot is Dante Keys. Slayton takes it. Will pitch it out to the left side for Foster. Foster looking for room to work with, getting ahead of steam across the 35 up to about the 34. It'll be close, but it looks like it'll be about a yard shy. So about a 10-yard gain for Foster. Gets that one back. Actually, it's kind of an unfavorable spot. Called only about a gain of 8 after it's all said and done. It'll be third and about 2. Slayton has two receivers wide to the right. Foster will fake the handoff, and Keys will get it, but being wrapped up very quickly by Tribby. So not much of anything for Keys on that pass. I believe that was Slayton's first pass of the night, unless I am mistaken. And that goes down for about a 3-yard loss. And they'll let the clock wind down and take a timeout at the 3:14 mark. Pretty sure we saw this a lot against Whiteland last week, where Woodard would kind of decide, kind of when you're in that 30 to 40-yard range, kind of not quite in John Hagee's field goal range, but you don't want to punt it either, because all you're really trying to do is to pin them back at that point. And a lot of times it's just easier to go for it, because if you turn it over, you're not really losing much in the way of field position. So we'll see if that's what head coach Woodard decides to do here. We've seen it in the last couple of games where he's kind of been in that no man's land, where he'll, instead of electing to have Hagee try and pin him deep, which he's more than capable of doing, but they've been electing to go for it. Hagee's long on the year. He's only 41, and the wind is blowing against him, so it's obviously not going to be a field goal attempt. The offense will remain on the field, and they'll go for it at 4th and 4. So this will be a big-time play for the Quaker offense. They bring everybody in tight in a jumbo set with an I formation. And Martinsville will take their first timeout. So we'll take a quick timeout as well. A message from Tim as a personal financial representative in Plainfield. He knows many local families. His knowledge and understanding of the people in the community help him provide customers with an outstanding level of service. He looks forward to helping families like yours protect the things that are important: your home, family, car, and more. He can also help you prepare a strategy to achieve your financial goals. His address is 1911 Crown Plaza Boulevard in Plainfield, or you can reach him at 317-839-1500. The Beacon Sign Company specializes in local high school sports and event signage needs. This is their 12th year of supporting the Red Pride football program. They are located at 9305 East U.S. Highway 36 in Avon. You can call 272-2388 for all your signage needs. Or you can stop by Monday through Friday from 9 to 6. So the offense remains on the field for Plainfield, and that forces the defense from the Artesians to stay on. So it'll be 4th and 4, 3:14 left to go in the second quarter. A big play here. Jumbo set in the eye. Slayton will pitch it out to Foster. Foster gets ahead of steam, gets the first down and more. One man to beat, crossing the 20 to the 10, and turns on the Jets to the end zone, does Dylan Foster for the touchdown. So from about 36 yards out, Foster gets his second score of the night. That's his second scoring touchdown of the night. So 36-yard rush from Foster, pending PAT. PAT is almost blocked, but it is up and good. So 3:06 left to go in the second quarter. Plainfield now leads 21-3. We also want to thank the following sponsors that sponsor Plainfield football: Fusion Alliance, Allergent, and the Plainfield Self-Storage. So Plainfield now up 21-3. The lone score for Martinsville has been on the field goal by Ethan Knox. Well, thus far, Plainfield's gotten great play from really all three aspects of the game. You know, Coy Anderson, as well as Dawson Anderson and Maple have been great in the return game thus far for the Quakers. They had the interception return for the touchdown by Yeager Barnett. And offensively, Dylan Foster continues to be the go-to workhorse for the Quakers. Hagee puts a leg into it. It's high and low, going against the wind. Coming up to field at the 15 is Greg Daniels, and he'll get across about the 30 before he's finally brought down. Came in with this one with a 23-yard average to Greg Daniels, so he's going to up those numbers if he continues to return it like that here tonight. I think he's gotten it to the 25 or the 30 every single time. Like I said, wind blowing against Hagee on that kick. Hoskins will take it and pitch it over to the right side. Turning on the Jets is Greg Daniels crossing the 50. Has one man to beat. That's Yeager Barnett, who finally throws him out of bounds. So great run that time by Greg Daniels, setting up the Artesians, trying to give them some kind of momentum on the offensive side of the ball. And that just might do it. So that'll bring out 1st and 10 from the 31 of Plainfield. Martinsville now in Plainfield territory. Hoskins will fake it, look to run, and has pressure. Ball comes out. Looks like Martinsville recovers. Hoskins had the ball come out as he got pressured by Matt Moeller. Biddle had an opportunity to cover it up, just couldn't quite get there. But either way, it'll be a extremely bad loss for the Artesians of about 10 yards. So that'll bring out 2nd and about 20. Hoskins sends a man in motion. He looks to throw. Has pressure. Throws late, and that ball comes out. So that'll be a no-good pass from Hoskins. Had his intended target, but just couldn't quite haul it in. So good coverage that time from Plainfield to pop the ball loose. 2:03 left to go in the second. Both teams with 2 timeouts. At 3rd and 18, we'll see what Martinsville decides to do here. 3 receivers near side, 1 to the left for Hoskins. Looks like Daniels is back there with him. And Martinsville will take the timeout, so we'll take one as well. For more than 2 decades, Wicker Construction has engaged in building one-of-a-kind homes and remodeling projects while exceeding client expectations, delivering projects with professionalism and integrity. Wicker Construction works closely with you, the client, to understand your lifestyle and construction needs. Impact Insurance Restoration is your hometown restoration company for all your fire, flood, wind, and hail damage needs. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They are located at 2340 East Perry Road in Plainfield and can be reached at 268-6375. For all your pet care needs, you can visit the Animal Clinic of Plainfield at 2324 East Main Street, right here in Plainfield, directly across from the Super Walmart Garden Center. Dr. Deckard and his team of dedicated doctors and staff know just how important your pets are to you, and they'll work hard to keep them healthy and happy for years to come. For more information, you can visit their website at www.animalclinicofplainfield.com or call to set up an appointment at 839-8154, and be sure to like them on Facebook. So big play here for Martinsville. 3rd and 18, 2:03 left to go in the second. 2 receivers either side for Hoskins. Sends a man in motion, that's Daniels. He gets it on the in around. We've seen this play already once before. Hoskins throws. It's going to be short and intercepted. Still haven't been able to see who got the pick. Josh Briscoe, the senior. So Josh Briscoe gets the interception. Hoskins got hit as he threw. And that was just pretty much kind of up for grabs, and Briscoe was kind of in the right place at the right time. So with 1:54 left to here and a nice little lead, we'll see what the Quaker offense does. I'd imagine you just try and run out the clock. Martinsville only has 1 timeout. I doubt they really use it. But you kind of want to use as much time as possible, and if Foster gets any kind of momentum going, you never know. In around on the rush from Dawson Anderson, trying to find room to work with, crossing the 30 to the 35 to the 40, still on his feet to the other side, crossing the 30, still on his feet with room to work with, crossing the field now, trying to find the end zone, 1 man to beat, and he hobbles into the end zone for a big-time score from the scrimmage. Wow! What a great run from Dawson Anderson, all the way from his own 14-yard line. So that's an 86-yard rush from Dawson Anderson. And that PAT is up and good. So 86 yards and the touchdown for Dawson Anderson puts the momentum squarely in the favor of the Quakers. 86-yard rush by Dawson Anderson. At the 1:36-minute mark, makes it 28-3 with PAT. Scoring summary getting filled up quite well here for Plainfield as they are able to turn in. That's the second time they've had an interception go for points, as this time the first time was a pick that was a pick 6, and the next time it was a pick that led to a very next play from the line of scrimmage, resulting in a touchdown. So two scores off of turnovers thus far from Plainfield. Hagee will kick it, and that one actually goes out of bounds, so not a good kick that time from Hagee. Smart play that time from Daniels to let it go and as it bounced out of bounds. So with 1:36, Martinsville will have 1 timeout to try and go, I think, 60 yards. Not sure exactly where they spot it in high school. We'll have to wait and see. They do spot it at the 35, it looks like. So we talked about being disciplined. That's what Plainfield's going to have to be here. Don't want to give up anything easy to Martinsville and lose any kind of momentum going into the half. Hoskins rolls to the left, looks to throw, has a receiver. That's Daniels, who knocks off the first hit, but eventually will be gang tackled after a gain of about 13. Clock continues to move. Martinsville with two receivers to the near side. And a nice little pitch to the right side before he's swallowed up by Coy Anderson. That was Daniels on the carry. Coy Anderson flies around on the defensive end. It's going to be tough next year not seeing him on the defensive end of the ball for Plainfield. Hoskins looks to throw once again. Has pressure from his backside and has a receiver, but he's going to be knocked back. But the he was knocked back very far, but the forward progress will give him close, about a yard shy of the first down marker. So I'll bring out third and actually about 2 yards from where the spot is. So 47 seconds left to go. Martinsville with still about 45 yards to go before they can try and get their first scoring touchdown. Don't know what... Well, we saw Caleb Urban earlier struggle kicking the football, so I'd imagine Ethan Knox, if you're going to kick the field goal, is going to be your better option. He'll be kicking with the wind, but I'm still not sure exactly what his range is. So I'm not sure if there's really a target line for Martinsville to get to here. Stewart comes near side. Daniels in the slot. Wide to the left is Tribby. Gorham stands with Hoskins in the shotgun. Hoskins looks to throw. Has pressure. Knocked as he threw. And Plainfield couldn't quite get that interception. Pressure applied that time by Bryce Biddle. Plainfield has been in the face of Hoskins repeatedly here so far here tonight. Give credit to Plainfield's defenders for taking it to the offensive line of the Artesians. 4th and 3 with 41 seconds left to go. Martinsville is going to go for it. Quick throw. Has a receiver out there on the left side before he does a smart job as Tribby getting out of bounds and stopping the clock and saving that timeout. So that will leave 36 seconds on the clock and be a first down here for the Artesians. 3 receivers near side, 1 to the left for Hoskins. Looks to throw again. Pressure comes, and he'll go down. Going down at about the 45-yard line. Pappas, I think, was the person that got the sack, or at least be credited for half a sack. And brought down again. This time it is Biddle. So Pappas getting a sack, and then Biddle getting sacked. And that'll be the end of the first half. So Plainfield puts another 14 points on the board to make it 28-3 as we go to the half. We'll take a timeout and come back and review some of that first half. You're listening to AudioSportsOnline.net coverage of Plainfield High School varsity football.
it's right here because this very nice gentleman right there that we put in.
You are amazing. Okay, it's charging.
It's the hardest thing to film because there's that heat and that thing. It's the hardest thing right there.
And then I'll let you outside.
There's no There's no outlets in the set.
What do you need? What do you need to talk about?
What is this? I don't know. I've been over here.
I almost cried.
They do.
It was 7. It had 7 minutes on, it and then it shut down.
They do not charge it.
And then I just told Trippy's passing. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
If he says anything, tell.
I'm gonna come right back.
Hey, wait. This is long. This is long.
It's charging, yes.
This is long. And there's a plug in right there.
Is it gonna go all the way to the end?
We'll get a comment out of him.
I don't think I was supposed to do any of their,
Right? And we'll back to halftime here at Plainfield. Quakers over the 28-3 over the Artesians.
They're already looking over.
Is it shocking or silly or
I
silly?
would ask them that no
They
outside
can connect us to our deepest humanity.
No.
People who never
You guys have a power strip upstairs, and you have an extension cord going over here. How do you plug that in so that we can start your Thank you so much. Bring that.
Ray's going who's forward, back down hit of the game. Brother spotted job. Bring it up.
Total yardage for each team there at halftime. Plainfield 196, Martinsville 124. First downs, Martinsville with 7, Plainfield with 86 yards. Going in there this evening. Boy, if you
And I had that back or whatever.
Thank you guys so much.
Secrets can remind us of the countless human dramas of frailty and heroism playing out silently in the lives of people all around us, even now.
Billy 4-yard field goal in the last Martinsville's last possession.
Welcome back to Plainfield High School, where Plainfield is currently up over the visiting Martinsville Artesians, 28-3. The seniors on senior night have been playing absolutely spectacular. We've seen 2 scoring touchdowns from Dylan Foster rushing the football. He's closing in on about 100 yards on the night thus far. Has a scoring touchdown from 15 out as well as 36 out. Though he's not a, trying to catch my breath from running up and down the stairs. Though he's not a senior, Dawson Anderson also has a scoring rush from about 86 yards, going pretty much the length of the field. Coy Anderson's also been big in the return game, as well as Jacob Maple. And defensively, the seniors have also showed up big for the Quakers, as Jaeger Barnett, the senior, has 1 interception for 35 yards and a scoring touchdown. And also getting a interception is senior Josh Briscoe, who's in the right place at the right time for another interception. So thus far, Plainfield getting the job done. We've seen a couple of good returns, as we talked about, from Coy Anderson, as well as Jacob Maple, and it's really set up the Quakers in excellent field position, and they've been able to take advantage of it, and they now lead 28-3, and if they continue to pile on the points in the third quarter, we might see some even more of the seniors that don't get quite the playing time that some of the other players do, getting an opportunity here on senior night, which will be very special for them. We'll take another timeout. When we come back, we'll get set for the third quarter. You're listening to Plainfield Varsity Football on AudioSportsOnline.net. Welcome back to Plainfield High School. While they honor the senior marching band members, let's go and take a look at some scores from around the state. No score yet from Switzerland County and Arlington. Avon up over Noblesville 27-0 in the second. Beech Grove leads Mooresville 25-7. Not quite a mid-state conference play there, but Mooresville in the mid-state. 25-7 in the second. No score yet from Ben Davis and North Central, or Perry Meridian, Bloomington South for that matter. F Jesuit leads Westfield 21-0 in the second. Hamilton Southeastern leads Brownsburg 21-2 in the second. That game is being played at Victory Field here tonight. Center Grove leads Cathedral 7-0 at the half. That's a big-time matchup right there. Well, this is interesting. Chittard versus Shortridge, winning in a forfeit. I don't think I've ever seen that. Chittard beating Shortridge based on a forfeit. That'd been my guess. I don't think I've seen that. Columbus East leads Bedford North Lawrence 35-14 at the half. Decatur Central blanketing Franklin Community 22-0 at the half. New Powell up over Delta 14-0 in the first. Eastern Hancock leads LaPel 12-0 at the half. At the half, 21-7 is the score. West Vigo up over Edgewood.
Fishers leads by 7 over Zionsville, 14-7 in the second. Greenwood up over Whiteland at the half, 14-6. That's a big mid-state conference matchup right there. Greenwood up over Whiteland. Whiteland thus far, I think, is undefeated in conference play. Could be on the verge of losing their first one if that holds true here tonight. Lafayette Central Catholic up over West Lafayette, 21-13. Sorry, I wanted to write down that Greenwood score so I can keep an eye on it. Lafayette Central Catholic leads Lafayette 21-13 in the second. No score yet. Tech and Lafayette Jeff. Carmel leads Lawrence Central 28-7 in the second. Pike leading Lawrence North 21-7 in the second. Muncie Central taking it to Logansport 42-14 in the second. McCutcheon leads Anderson 37-7 in the second. Mishawaka up over Frankton 21-0 at the half. Tight score, Newcastle Greenfield Central 8-7. Newcastle with the lead by 1 in the first. North Montgomery leads Tri-West 23-20 in the second. Northeastern blanketing Union City 20-0 at the half. In the second, 20-14 is the score. Hamilton Heights over Northwestern. No tie, Whitco and Peru at the half. Plainfield, we know the score here. Roncalli leads East Central 14-3 in the first. Monrovia up over Cecina 49-14 at the half. Indian Creek up over South Decatur 22-7 at the half. Frankfort and Southmont in a tight 121-18. Southmont in the lead there in the second. All tied up. Southport, Columbus North 28 all in the second. Triton Central leads Speedway 17-7 at the half. Terre Haute South leads Bloomington North 7-0 in the first. Twin Lakes leads Tipton 14-0 in the second. Lebanon right now up over Western Boone 23-13 in the second. We'll take another timeout and get set for the third quarter. About 2:22 left to go in the half, but there's still a long line of seniors to be honored for the marching band, so we'll keep an eye on that. You're listening to AudioSportsOnline.com coverage of Plainfield Varsity Football.
my neighbor. Oh, neighbor boy. Hey, I saw your brother play at Franklin. They played at Butler. I went to the game. He got to play some quarterback. He looked good. He did a good job, yeah. Wasn't it over the game? The Butler game at Franklin? I think your dad was there, but I didn't get a see.
Should give you $5 for the cost of the admission.
Yeah, Blake went. He went to see Massey play. He used to play for Plainfield. He's a senior. He plays linebacker for Butler. What are you doing, Miss Allie?
Welcome back to Plainfield High School. We're Plainfield up over the visiting Martinsville Artesians 28-3 at the half as we get set to start off the third quarter. Going back to that first kickoff, the Plainfield is really dominated. We talked about it in the pregame show. Some of the keys tonight would be to dominate early and take Martinsville out of the game, make them feel that 0-8 record early and try and get them down on themselves. So I think that's been accomplished, and we talked about being, this being a special night for seniors in their final home game, that you want to kind of live in the moment, finish strong in your senior season, and check that as well, because the seniors came here to play here tonight. In the opening coin flip, Martinsville won and deferred to the second, so they'll get the ball to start the third quarter. We'll see if there are any changes made on either side. We'll try and keep on our toes. As we talked about, if the game gets out of control, Plainfield might play some of the seniors that really don't get that much game time. And we'll also keep an eye on the quarterback situation for Martinsville, see if Griffey gets any time for them. Particularly after 2 interceptions from Hoskins and a couple fumbles. Really. Haven't lost any, thankfully, for the Artesians, but has coughed it up a couple times. So Hagee set to kick it away. He'll be kicking with the win this time. Picked up at about the 13. Turning on the burners and getting across the 40, almost to the 50 before he's finally brought down, is Greg Daniels. So a very, very nice return. Sets the Artesians up in really, really great field position. Well, we've seen Plainfield's defense have a nice goal line stand early after the first turnover from Plainfield. We'll see if they can hold serve here. It's 1st and 10. Ball on the 44 of Martinsville. Short pass to the right side is no good. Intended target for that pass was Greg Daniels, who couldn't quite haul it in. So that'll bring out 2nd and 10. Tribby near side, 3 receivers to the right for Hoskins. Handoff goes up the middle by Daniels, who get ahead for a gain of 2, maybe 3. So that'll bring out 3rd and call it 7. Ball advanced to the other side of the 50, so now in Quaker territory. Martinsville taking a great deal of time with their substitutions here. Down to 11 on the play clock, now under 10. Three. And they just get it off in time. Hoskins set to throw, low throw, bobbled up. And I thought the ball hit
They're going to say it hit the ground and bounced up, so no interception. Figured that would have been considered an interception if it went off of a Martinsville player's foot. High snap, brought down, almost blocked. Knox getting it just away, but flag flies, and that'll be roughing the punter. And Knox will hobble off the field underneath his own power. Late hit was put on by Bradley Wicker. So that'll be an automatic first down. So 1st and 10 following the personal foul penalty of roughing the punter. Ball on the 32 now of Plainfield. Low snap. Hoskins takes it himself. He'll plow ahead for a short gain of 2. Bring out 2nd and 8. Two receivers to the far side, one near side. Hoskins looks to throw. Has time. And the throw is complete to the 11-yard line to Tribby. And that'll move the chains once again. So Martinsville capitalizing on the penalty and moving even further into the red zone. 10:09 left to go in the third quarter. Hoskins stands with 2 running backs behind him. Handoff goes to Knox, who plows ahead for a gain of 4, maybe 5. Call it 4. We'll bring out 2nd and 6. Surprised they don't give it to Knox more often. It's pretty much a fullback, but he's good for about 3 or 4 yards every time he's carried it this year. And Knox again, plowing ahead over Quaker defenders. Getting close to the first down. They should mark it, so it should be 1st and goal from about the 5. And pitch out goes to the right side. And getting in for the touchdown is Martinsville. Believe that was Boyd Johnson on the carry. So Boyd Johnson from 5-yard rush. Check that. That wasn't Boyd Johnson. That was Greg Daniels on the carry. So at the 9:22 minute mark of the third quarter, Quakers still lead 28-10. but Martinsville with some life following the extended play after the roughing the kicker.
Hey, I put everybody to bed. Hey, school is over.
Jaeger Barnett and Mapleback to return now for the Quakers. Knox set to kick it away for the Artesians. Gets a leg into it. And Barnett will field it at about the 8. Crossing the field to the 30. Looking for more room to work with. Crossing the 35 now up to the 40, excuse me. So Jaeger Barnett up to about the 32 on that return. So about a return of 30. Three receivers near side. Man in motion's Middleton. High snap. Slayton brings it down. Hands off to Foster. Foster crossing the 40 up to about the 44. Up ahead for a gain of 5 for him on that carry. Braden Royer was in on that play, the senior, getting some action. We talked about that. Dante Keys comes near side. Gavin Ritter in the slot. Two receivers wide to the left. Spread formation. Slayton looks to throw. Has a man. Down the sideline was Middleton, but in and out of his hands. So that'll bring out 3rd and 5. Dawson Anderson comes near side. Dante Keys in the slot. Luke Middleton is close in formation on the left side. Slayton takes it. Looks to throw on the quarterback option. Crossing the 45 to the 50. Still on his feet. 40, 30, 20, 10. Foster in for the touchdown. So 57 yards from Dylan Foster for another scoring touchdown for Plainfield. That's Foster's 3rd rushing touchdown of the night. This one for 57 yards. Pending PAT. Aggies point after up and good. Makes it 35-10. Going to have to go to a second page on the scoring summary. So, Plainfield now up 35-10, 8:25 left to go in the third quarter. Hagee set to kick it away. Tribby and Daniels back to return. Hagee's kick is fielded at the 10 by Tibby. Coming across to the 25. Pressure comes. Flags fly. Tibby up across about the 40 before he's knocked out. But it should be a block in the back. So Martinsville will keep possession, but they'll be backed up. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Artesians from their own 14-yard line. One receiver wide to the right, one near side, one in the slot. Shovel pass to the right side to Daniels. Daniels had a little bit of room to work with up ahead for about a 6-yard, call it 7-yard gain to bring out 2nd and 3. Another handoff up the middle, bouncing off of some tacklers before he's finally brought down is Greg Daniels. First and 10. Ball on the Martinsville 33. Daniels once again finding room to work with off tackle. Made a good cut after he hit the line of scrimmage to the left. Found a lot of room to work with. So another big gain of 6. Make that 7, so that brings out 2nd and 3. Tribby comes near side. Daniels will remain back there with Hoskins. Daniels once again, the exact same play. And they'll cross into Plainfield territory across the 50. That exact same play. I mean, it was the exact same formation and pretty much almost the exact same result. Daniels cut it back after he hit the line of scrimmage and had plenty of room to work with. 1st and 10. Ball on the Quaker 41. Hoskins looking down, throws it. It's a wobbly pass. Tribby is able to haul it in, but he was out of bounds. Tough coverage by Clayton White on that near side. Or check that. That was Corey Bennett on the coverage. Once again, shovel pass goes to the right side to Daniels, trying to find room to work with, and he'll plow ahead for another 1st down. Daniels providing a much-needed spark for the Artesians here, and he continues to keep drives alive. So that brings out 1st and 10. Ball on the 36-yard line. Daniels once again right up the middle of the field for another big gain of about 8 yards. We saw on the last drive from the Artesians, they were going very slowly, very methodically. Now they're kind of almost in a hurry-up mode, but this time he'll get ahead for a minimal gain before he's wrapped up. Coy Anderson, among others, on the tackle. That'll bring out 3rd down. Call it 3rd and 2. But Daniels is getting about 5-6 yards almost every carry. I'd imagine if you're the Artesians here, you're just going to hand off to him. Oh, he's coming over near side, so he's not going to be in the backfield this time. Looks like Gorman is in there. Hoskins has his receiver on that right side. Clayton White wraps him up, but it'll be another 1st down. So the Artesians getting some momentum here, being very methodical with this drive. Clayton White looks for Tribby. And it's thrown up, batted down by Josh Briscoe. He was going for the interception. I mean, Hoskins had Tribby wide open. Clayton White had to come from the other side of the field. He was looking for his coverage man, and it was Tribby on the near side. And that's where Hoskins threw the ball. But the throw was so high and not very direct that it just kind of sailed over Tribby's head. Hoskins rolls to the near side, has his intended target at the 10-yard line. It's Greg Daniels. Late flag comes in. Looks like it's going to be a late hit on Coy Anderson. So they will call personal foul against Plainfield. That'll be half the distance to the goal. So it'll be first and goal from about the 5 now for Martinsville. Hawkins hands off to, well, they fake the handoff to Knox. And then eventually pitched out to Daniels, but a flag comes in the realm of holding. So it would have been a touchdown for Daniels, but it's going to be wiped out after the hold on Tribby. So it was first and 5, or excuse me, first and goal from the 5, but now it's going to be first and goal from the 15. Let's see what the Artesians elect to do here. They're going to remove their big fullback, Levi Knox, and checking in place of him is going to be Spencer Elliott. 9 seconds now on the play clock. And Martinsville's going to take a timeout before that play clock reaches 0. So we'll take a timeout as well. 4:44 left to go in the third quarter. Plainfield leads 35-10. For more than 2 decades, Wicker Construction has engaged in building one-of-a-kind homes and remodeling projects while exceeding client expectations, delivering projects with professionalism and integrity. Wicker Construction works closely with you, the client, to understand your lifestyle and construction needs. Impact Insurance Restoration is your hometown restoration company for all your fire, flood, wind, and hail damage needs. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're located at 2340 East Perry Road in Plainfield and can be reached at 268-6375. For all your pet care needs, you can visit the Animal Clinic of Plainfield at 2324 East Main Street, right here in Plainfield, directly across from the Super Walmart Garden Center. Dr. Deckard and his team of dedicated doctors and staff know just how important your pets are to you, and they'll work hard to keep them happy for years to come. For more information, visit their website at www.animalclinicofplainfield.com, or you can call to set an appointment at 839-8154, and be sure to like them on Facebook. Welcome back to Plainfield High School. Martinsville in a first and goal from the 15 situation. Hoskins throws off of his back foot and doesn't have his intended target. Pressure coming from behind, applied by Bryce Biddle. So that brings out second and goal from the 15. Three receivers on the right side. And it's given pass to Greg Daniels. Room to work with in the open field. Up ahead to the 3-yard line. It was great recognition by Hoskins. Plainfield playing soft on the coverage on that side. There were 3 defenders in the area playing man-to-man coverage, but it was pretty much about a 10-yard gap between Daniels when he caught the ball and the nearest defender. So that'll bring out 3rd and goal from the 3. And off goes up the middle to Knox, and he'll be in for the touchdown. So Knox gets the rush from 3 yards out. Pending PAT at the 3:55-minute mark of the 3rd quarter. Makes it 35-16 right now, but we'll see. Weird formation here. It's snapped over to the left side to Knox for a attempted 2-point conversion, but that one's going to be no good. Different formation there. So it's 35-16. It was an interesting formation there. Artesians lined up everybody pretty much on the left side except for the snapper, the holder, and the kicker. And they tried to direct snap it over to Knox, but no avail. Located at 2683 East Main Street, Suite 113 in Plainfield. At Beefcakes, we can build your burger to eliminate your hunger. Come join us and maybe even get around a cornhole. So as the 3rd quarter continues to wind down, Plainfield's still in the driver's seat. But Martinsville, like we said, is a dangerous team with nothing to lose, so you got to finish them off. Wouldn't be surprised if they tried an onside kick all year. Knox puts a leg into it. Coming up to field it at about the 12 is Barnett, crossing the 20, looking for him to work with. Puts the Jets on, crossing the 40, 50. On the other side, 40. Has room to work with. 30, 20, 10. One man to beat. Diving for the end zone. Does he get there? Touchdown! Yeager Barnett on the kickoff return. The senior has it. Came up the field at about his own 12-yard line, so that's an 88-yard touchdown return for Yeager Barnett. 88. He fielded at about the 12. So 88-yard touchdown return. And the PAT is up and good. So, not even 9 seconds go off the clock. Or, excuse me, a little over 9 seconds. 11 seconds, I should say, come off the clock. And just like that, Plainfield back in the driver's seat, 42-16. What a return by Yeager Barnett. That's the second touchdown full return that we've seen this year in the Plainfield return game. Maples had one, and now Yeager Barnett has one. Dawson Anderson had been doing a lot of the other return duties besides Maple, but Barnett getting it here tonight as the senior on senior night. Now, I'll tell you what, Barnett hit the afterburners at the 30-yard line and was pretty much gone as he crossed midfield. Just had one man to beat. He had to dive for the end zone, but he was able to get there. Hagee set to kick it with the wind. It tails over and fielded at about the 13 by Colton Trivy. He'll get it across the 20 up to the 21. So we've seen the interception return for a touchdown, a kickoff return for a touchdown. Goy Anderson almost had a punt return for a touchdown And we've seen 3 touchdowns from Dylan Foster in the running game. Dawson Anderson also had 1 rushing touchdown. About the only thing we're missing is a passing score and a punt return for a touchdown.
Come on, defense, make a stand.
And a fumble pickup if you want to include that. Hoskins hand spins away from 2 defenders after the hit. Was Greg Daniels, but doesn't get much more. Oop, excuse me. Daniels spun away from the initial contact, almost hit, basically forced 2 Plainfield defenders to crash into each other.
I counted 4 fumbles in the first half.
3:05 left to go in the third quarter. Hoskins will hand off to Daniels. Daniels cuts over to the left side, evades 1 tackler, and eventually works his way out of bounds. Gavin Ritter, the junior, had him in his sights, but just couldn't quite bring him down in the backfield. So that'll bring out 3rd and call it 3. Ball on the Martinsville, about the 29. Hoskins looks to throw. Has pressure, rolling out, and it'll be no good. His intended target was Boyd Johnson. Couldn't quite haul it in. And does look like the punt team will come on here for Martinsville. We've talked about Martinsville as a team with nothing to lose at this point. 0-8 on the season. They'll make the playoffs, but it's going to be a tough draw for them. So got to be careful of just about anything. Coy Anderson stands at his own 35 right now. Knox will take it, put a leg into it. High kick, not very long at all. Bounces at the 50, all the way down to about the 37 before it finally starts rolling. It almost hit Martinsville's defense. They had almost outran the ball. They were expecting it to be a little bit longer, but kicking against the wind, Knox didn't have that much leg into it. That would have been disastrous if that became a live ball. Disastrous for Martinsville, I should say. Warrior comes near side. 1 receiver in the slot, 1 wide to the left. Slayton takes it. He'll hand off to Foster. Foster cuts up the middle of the field, and he's got room to work with. 30, 20, 10. Touchdown, Dylan Foster. His 4th touchdown of the night. This one from about 69 yards. 2 straight rushes by Foster that have gone straight for touchdowns. 69 yards, right?
They were at the 37.
37, not the 31. 63. Excuse me, 63 yard. How dare I? I cheated. Gave Foster too many yards. PAT's up and good. 4th touchdown run by Foster. I think he's gotten gotten plenty of burn here tonight as Dylan Foster. So at the 2:23 mark, PAT's good after that, and that makes it a 49-16 game with 2:23 left to go in the third. Thus far, Dylan Foster has had quite the night. 4 touchdowns on the night for Dylan Foster. He has 5 runs of 15 or more yards on the night. Well over 100 yards. He's had over, let's see, he's had over 120 yards in his last 3 rushes alone. Squib kick, Hagee. Martinsfield up at the 35 and across the 40. Fumble late on the play, but Martinsville still retains it and falling all the way ahead to the 48. Very rarely does a fumble go your way, but in this case it did for Martinsville. We got plenty of extra yards off of it. Hoskins stands with Daniels. Late handoff. Hoskins throws to the right side. And wrapped up, brought down hard after a gain of 6 is Boyd Johnson. Hoskins faked the run to Greg Daniels, but held on to it and threw it out in the flat on the screen. This time Daniels will get it and plow ahead for a big-time gain. And there is a Plainfield player down. I think that's Hunter Lyford. I can't tell for sure, though. It's Tevin Tomlinson, who just came back from injury. We'll take a timeout. You're listening to AudioSportsOnline.net coverage of Plainfield Varsity Football. A message from Tim. As a personal financial representative in Plainfield, he knows many local families. His knowledge and understanding of the people in the community help him provide customers with an outstanding level of service. He looks forward to helping families like yours protect the things that are important: your family, home, car, and more. He can also help you prepare a strategy to achieve your financial goals. He's located in 1911 Crown Plaza Boulevard in Plainfield and can be reached at 317-839-1500. So Tomlinson able to be helped up and off the field under his own power. I'd imagine Tyler Marks will take his place. Hoskins looks to throw. Pressure comes. Throws in the middle of the field. And the intended target catches it at about the 19. Still can't tell who the receiver is. I think it was Greg Daniels. It was. Numbers are very thin on Martinsville's uniforms. It's hard to see from my angle. I do apologize. 1st and 10 now from the 18 for the Artesians. Hoskins will hand off to Knox. Knox puts his head down and carries over Plainfield defenders for a gain of about 7. So it'll be 2nd and 3. Clock continues to move, under a minute now in the third quarter, close to 43 seconds now. Hoskins wanted to hand it off to a running back, but that running back ran to the other side of him. So miscommunication there, and Hoskins finally realized that had to plow ahead, but is able to get the first down. So, busted play, but it still goes for positive yardage from Hoskins. And that'll make it 1st and goal from the 10. This time, he tries to hand it off and keeps it himself. And it'll be brought down quickly and hard by Bailey Kennedy. That's the senior. I believe that was Bailey Kennedy. Yes, it was Bailey Kennedy on that. Getting the sack. That's the end of the third quarter. 49-16. We'll take a timeout. Welcome back. Plainfield getting 21 points in that third quarter. Martinsville able to get 13, but they still trail. 49-16 is our score as we get set to start the fourth quarter. Located at 2683 East Main Street, Suite 113 at Plainfield. At Beefcakes, we can build your burger to eliminate your hunger. Come join us and maybe even get in a round of cornhole. It's been pretty much all Plainfield here tonight. Artesians have fought here and there valiantly, but to no avail, as Plainfield on senior night has really stuck to their guns and gotten the job done. Tough defensive stand here will be needed, though, as it is second and goal from about the 8. Hoskins hands off to Daniels, who'll get in for the end zone for the touchdown. We'll see if they go for the 2-point conversion. It looks like they're bringing on the kicking team. So it looks like Knox will be in there to try the PAT. High snap, brought down and up, and good. Makes it 49-23. The Beacon Sign Company specializes in local high school sports and event signage needs. This is their 12th year of supporting the Red Pride football program. They are located at 9305 East US Highway 36 in Avon. Call 272-2388 for all your signage needs, or stop by Monday through Friday from 9 to 6. We also wish to thank the following Plainfield football sponsors: Fusion Alliance, Allergent, and Plainfield Self-Storage. So 49-23 is our score. Plainfield up right now. Plainfield been pretty much in the driver's seat all game long, looking to put it away here. Saul Yeager Barnett with 1 touchdown, all ready for a return. Knox set to kick it away. And it's fielded at about the 4-yard line. Crossing the 20, 25, 30. Up ahead to the 35. Spinning is Yeager Barnett, dragging tacklers across the 45. Almost into Martinsville territory. Another big-time carry from Yeager Barnett, this time of 40 yards. That's almost, it's over about 150 yards now for Yeager Barnett in the return game alone. So Plainfield now with an opportunity to cap off. Well, it's been a great senior night. Slayton will take it. Pitch over to Maple. Maple makes a man miss. Crossing the 50. Stiff arms as he gets across the 52. Tackle made by Cade Scott. So great run by Maple for a gain of, call it, 5. So 11-17 left to go in the fourth. I imagine we're going to see lots of running here between Foster and Maple. And off goes once again to Maple, puts his head down. Getting ahead for another gain of 3. So that brings out 3rd and 2. tight formation from the Quakers. Pitches it over to the right side. Nice block on the right side. Maple with room to work with all the way to the end zone. Great block by Connor Kennedy, who pulled out. He comes up slow and limping off the field, but Connor Kennedy is the reason Maple was able to get in for that touchdown. That was a great pull block by Connor Kennedy that gave Maple the room he needed for the 48-yard touchdown. So PAT from Hagee upcoming. And it's good. Oh. It goes in. Didn't quite see it on the film. I do apologize, but it hit the upright and bounced in just barely. That was about 48 yards, right? 45.
56 to 23. Here comes.
See, I just got to learn how to count to be a play-by-play broadcaster, you know. So at the 10-20 minute mark of the fourth quarter, it's now 56-23 Quakers following the 45-yard Maple touchdown score. Can't give enough credit to Connor Kennedy, the junior. And the kick's away. Bounces at about the 15 before it's picked up by Tribby. Tribby going down the sideline before he's finally pushed out. That was a low kick from Hagee, but it sets Martinsville up in good field position. So I'll bring you 1st and 10 for Martinsville from the 36. Two receivers near side, one to the left for Hoskins. He'll take it and hand off up the middle to Daniels.
Somebody's got a shirt slowing down.
And he'll be ahead for a gain of 2. And he'll bring out 2nd and 8. Daniel stands back there with Hoskins. Same formation, two receivers near side, one to the left. And off goes once again to Daniels, cutting over to the left side, looking for him to work with on the sideline before it's finally knocked out after crossing of the 50 up ahead to the 49 into Quaker territory. I almost said 51. I caught myself. It's not Canadian. So now in Quaker territory at the 49 are the Artesians. Two receivers near side, one to the left. Daniel still stands back there with Hoskins. He'll get it on the carry again. Looking for something to develop. Nothing really does. He still gets ahead for a good gain of about 4, does Daniels, on the forward progress. But he had to really kind of wait for anything to develop. Nothing really did, so he eventually just put his head down and got what he could. That'll bring out 2nd and 6.
He's got the second string in now. Most of them. On the line.
Plenty of seniors in there. Gavin, get to them here momentarily as there are substitutions on the defensive end. Daniels once again getting close to the first down marker, not quite there. Head for a gain of about 3. Bring out 3rd and call it 2. But Gavin Jacobs is in there. Brandon Royer's in there on defense now. Andrew Zoss still in there. Michael Pappas, the sophomore's in there. Tanner Penry is also in there, it looks like. Josh Briscoe, the senior, is in there. Try and get some more here momentarily. Hoskins looks to throw, has a receiver, that's Daniels. He had pressure up in the middle, but was still able to get the ball off, was Hoskins. Bailey Kennedy, the senior defensive lineman, also in there. Tyler Brown, the senior, 5'8", 175-pound linebacker, he's in there. And Ernesto Mariscal is also in there, the senior defensive lineman. Good to see the seniors get some game time. And nice pitch out from Hoskins.
Block in the back.
And that'll be a hold. That was a great read by Hoskins. He faked the handoff to Levi Knox and then pitched at the last second to the running back on the play, which was Daniels. But it'll be a hold, and that'll back them up. Or check that. That was Gorham on the carry, not Daniels. So it'll be holding against Martinsville. And it's actually going to be declined, so they'll bring out 2nd and 10. 7:31 left to go in the fourth quarter. Quakers then dominating control, 56-23. Austin stands with 2 running backs behind him. And this time he'll give it off to Levi Knox, who plows ahead. Initial hit was applied by Ernie Mariscal. And it'll bring out 3rd and call it 6. Let's see, also in there is Jackson Deal, the 6', 215 junior defensive lineman. I do apologize if I've missed anybody. Low snap. Hoskins looks to throw. Coming up and almost getting a good read on it, but unable to make a play on the ball was Gavin Jacobs. So it'll be a 1st down for Martinsville. Gavin Jacobs looked to be trying to make a good play on the ball, but just wasn't quite quick enough to get to the play when the ball arrived. Was still there for make tackle. 2 receivers near side, 1 to the left. Handoff goes to Daniels, who puts on the brakes before putting his head down and getting forward. Looks like the ball might have came out. Was he down, though? That's the question. Refs will talk it over. Plainfield did come up with it. But they'll go ahead and mark it as Plainfield football.
Ball break is probably out of town. I don't know.
Not quite sure who came up with the fumble. But either way, it'll be Plainfield football. 6:12 left to go.
That's what my sheet says. That's what my sheet says.
And off goes to Maple, who's still on his feet before he's finally knocked out of bounds after a gain of 4. Didn't want to go down.
Oh, that's Logan Good-Smith. That's who that was. He knew it too. He went into the mirror.
Check that. It's Josh Burren in there now at quarterback for the Quakers. He'll hand off to, that was Gabe Eads on the carry. So pretty much everybody for Quakers now getting in on the action. But it'll be 3rd and 12 with 4:59 left to go right now. Two receivers far side, one near side for Burren. He'll take it and hand off, but not really anywhere to go for the ball carrier, and that is Gabe Eads once again. So they'll be forced to punt. So forward clock continues to move down to close to about 4 minutes and 20 seconds. I don't believe that's Hagee in there. Can't quite tell who the punter is right now for the Quakers. High snap out of the end zone. Chase Frazier was the punter in for the Quakers on that one. Should good. Yeah, it's a safety. So that's 2 points on the safety. So the safety after Frazier, and it'll be kicked from the 20 now by Hagee. So not a punt, so it'll be kicked. Hagee gets a leg into it, bounces at about the 33, rolls, and finally picked up on the left side, looking for him to work with. Is Spencer Elliott. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Artesians, 4 minutes left to go in the game. So it'll be 1st and 10 from about the 45-yard line of Martinsville. Looks like Griffey is in there now at quarterback for Martinsville. Griffey is the freshman, 5'11", 166 pounds. He hands off to Trey Spina. He'll get ahead for a gain of 1. Brings out 2nd and 9. Two receivers near side, one to the left for Griffey. Takes it, and he'll hand off up the middle. Finding room to work with is Spina once again. Before he's tackled. Tackle made that time by Chris Parker. So I'll bring about 1st and 10. 3:20 left to go in the 4th quarter. Wasn't quite prepared on my depth chart for tonight. Going with the full roster at this point. Griffey takes it, low snap, has pressure, steps up, looks to try and dive ahead for a minimal gain. Good awareness by Griffey as the pressure was applied that time by Jackson Deal. That's kind of one of those get what you can while you can. Clock continues to move. Almost under 2:40 now. Griffey once again in the shotgun. Takes it. Looks to throw. Has an arm and unable to hook up with his intended target on that right side. That's Corbin Williams was the intended target. Was a pretty pass there from Griffey. Just couldn't quite connect. Two receivers to the left, one to the near side for Griffey. Clock now under 2 minutes left to go. Griffey will take it, hand off, looking for room to work with. And he'll eventually be tackled. Tackle made that time by Chase Frazier. At this point, Martinsville is just watching the clock. Minute 25 now left to go on the game clock. 13 seconds on the play clock. We do have a Martinsville player tying issue. And Martinsville calls timeout on the 4th and 9. So, as we get set to wrap this one up, I'm going to go ahead and start calculating up my stats. I'm going to begin with Dylan Foster because, goodness gracious, oh my. It's going to take me a minute to count up all of his 11 rush yard totals. According to my count, 227 yards for Dylan Foster. Now, that's the unofficial statistic because, let's face it, it's kept by me. And the 4th down pass attempt is converted by Martinsville. And they carry that time for about 9 yards. Clock continues to move, now under 49 seconds. Didn't have a whole lot of passing here from Nicewater. We'll get to the final statistics in a minute. As Martinsville does cap off the scoring drive. Looks like they will go for 2 following the Spina touchdown.
Going for 2. Artesians. Griffey and Spina. Rolling out to his right side. Looks to the end zone.
And Griffey can't hook up with his intended target. So no good on the 2-point. I think that just about... I got to calculate them kickoff returns because goodness gracious, oh my. Got to calculate that as well.
So we will have a kickoff here, and that'll pretty much be the end of it. So one more play coming up. It'll be the victory formation play, and that'll do it. While I continue to calculate my final statistics. Okay, so that'll wrap up the game as the players will get on the field to shake hands. Let's go ahead and talk about the game on senior night. It was a great game for the seniors who showed up to play here in this one. Kind of recap the game. It was a wild affair. We'll start with the scoring summary. It all got started with the 15-yard rush with a PAT from Foster in the first quarter at the 5-10 minute mark to make it 7-0. And then Yeager Barnett, the other senior, got it going. 35-yard interception return for a touchdown with the PAT. Made it 14-0 in the first quarter. Ethan Knox got on the board for the Artesians with a field goal to make it 21-3. And then Dylan Foster got back in the action with another rushing touchdown. You'll hear his name quite a bit in the scoring summary. At the 3:06 minute mark in the second quarter, made it 21-3. And then Dawson Anderson had an 86-yard touchdown rush at the 1:36 minute mark of the second quarter, made it 28-3. Greg Daniels had a 5-yard rushing touchdown for the Artesians with a PAT to make it 28-10 at the 9:22 minute mark of the third quarter. And then it was pretty much lights out as the Quakers put their foot down. Foster had the 57-yard touchdown with the PAT. Made it 35-10. Artesians did score right back. They had a Knox 3-yard touchdown. Was no good on the 2-point conversion, making it 35-16. Barnett then had the big 88-yard touchdown return on the kickoff to make it 42-16. In the third quarter, Foster had another 63-yard rushing touchdown to make it 49-16. Daniels for the Artesians scored again, 49-23 after an 8-yard rush. And then Maple got in on the action, the other senior running back for the Quakers, at the 10-20 minute mark of the fourth quarter to make it 56-23 after a 45-yard rushing touchdown. And then there was the safety as the ball went over the head of Frazier that made it 56-25. And then Spina had the 3-yard touchdown, failed 2-point conversion to bring us to our final score of 56-31 in favor of the Quakers. So that's the scoring breakdown. It was pretty much a great night here for the seniors, as we talked about. Let's go and take a look at some of the final statistics. Foster was really the workhorse for the Quakers here tonight. He had 227 rushing yards by my count. Like I said, these are unofficial statistics. He had 4 rushing touchdowns. Foster finished with 2 carries for -3 yards. Keys had 1 rush for 6 yards and the fumble. Dawson Anderson had 90 yards on 3 carries and a scoring touchdown. And then Jacob Maple had 6 carries for 66 yards and 1 touchdown. The Quakers did not throw the ball very much tonight. Only 1 pass attempt from Slayton. It went for -3 yards to Dante Keys. Defensively, the Quakers had 2 interceptions. Yeager Barnett had 1 interception return for a touchdown from 35 yards. And also getting an interception on the night was Josh Briscoe. The return game was also pretty prominent. Yeager Barnett in particular, he had 158 return yards on the night as well as 1 return touchdown. So those are the scoring breakdown. If I have to give a player of the game, it's going to go to Dylan Foster. 227 yards and 4 scoring touchdowns. Anytime he hit the open field, he was gone and found his way into the end zone 4 different times tonight. Up next for the Plainfield High School Quakers, they'll be back in action on the road against Decatur Central on Friday, October 30th to begin the sectional draw play, and they'll face the 6-2 Decatur Central Hawks, a familiar foe. This season, the Quakers fell 14-35 at home against Decatur. Sophomore Tyrone Tracy gave the Quakers absolute fits in that one, running for 214 yards. He also had 86 receiving yards in that one. We want to thank you for enjoying Plainfield Varsity Football on audiosportsonline.net. This broadcast is brought to you by Impact Insurance Restoration, Wicker Construction, Fusion Alliance, Allergent, Animal Clinic of Plainfield, Plainfield Self-Storage, Allstate Insurance by Tim Grandstaff, Beefcake Burgers, and the Beacon Sign Company. I'm JP Sinclair wishing you a good night and a great weekend here from Plainfield High School.